Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. First, a reminder. Today is August 24th. From now until November 29th, there are 97 days left in Field Marshal Asim Munir's retirement. Now let's move towards today's main news. The first story is also about the Field Marshal. He spoke on good governance during his visit to Balochistan, where he delivered a speech and held interactions. In his address, he said that good governance is essential for development. One thing must be acknowledged: the Field Marshal doesn't just give statements, he shows things through action. Usually, you see political leaders making tall claims without practical steps, but the Field Marshal not only made this statement, he also demonstrated it in practice. He believes good governance is necessary for progress, and he has implemented it in Pakistan. That's why we won't overanalyze his statement. His actions speak for themselves. Now let's bring today's fresh stories before you. Examples of how much effort he is putting in to bring good governance to Pakistan. The next news comes from BBC. BBC Urdu ran an exclusive feature on Maryam Nawaz's recent trip to Japan and the use of a Pakistan AirForce aircraft for this visit. BBC spoke with a representative of the Punjab government, an official whose name they withheld for security reasons. The official explained that since the federal government is led by PMLN and this aircraft is also used by the Prime Minister, the cost of the trip would be paid by the federal budget, not Punjab's. BBC's main question was, for Maryam Nawaz's recent visit to Japan, a large aircraft from the Pakistan Air Force was used. It wasn't the usual small 12 to 15-seater jet used by Prime Ministers. This was a massive passenger plane-sized aircraft, comparable to an Airbus A320 or slightly smaller than a Boeing 777, something that can seat 200 to 250 passengers. Such a jet was never seen being used by Imran Khan during his 4 or 5 years as Prime Minister. He always used the much smaller official aircraft. But Maryam Nawaz travelled with a full delegation, a whole entourage, on this large jet. BBC ran a feature asking, who will pay for this? The Punjab government's response was that since the federal government also uses this plane, the expenses will be borne by the federal budget. Now you can see how the Field Marshal's good governance works. Since PMLN is in power both federally and in Punjab, the Chief Minister of Punjab can use such an aircraft and the Federation will foot the bill. This raises questions for other provinces like Sindh, KP, Balochistan, or even Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir. If their chief ministers travel, will the federal government also provide planes and cover costs? Because ultimately, the real authority everywhere is that of the Field Marshal. BBC also probed whether the plane was given on request as a favour or officially chartered with payment. An unnamed government official told BBC that expenses would be paid from the federal budget, not Punjab's. These days, the Field Marshal's pictures are even put on truckbacks with drones flying above, ARI vans chasing behind, just to project his popularity. And of course, he must be popular considering how many practical steps he's taking for good governance. But we'd suggest one thing. Under those truck posters with his photo, they should write the famous line often seen behind trucks: "Choice is mine, expense is the beloved's." That fits perfectly with the Punjab government's media stance: Maryam's choice, but someone else pays. Now, what BBC couldn't access, we present exclusively to you. A letter from the Punjab Chief Minister's office, dated July 18th. Its number is 014369. If anyone denies it, we take full responsibility. We'd already reported on July 22nd that Maryam Nawaz was set to travel with a delegation, but at that time we didn't have the actual letter in hand. Now we do. At the time it mentioned 16 members, but later the entourage expanded, requiring a larger plane. The Chief Minister also requested stopovers in Bangkok and Singapore on the way back. All this was planned and documented. This shows clearly this wasn't the Prime Minister's jet. It was a Pakistan Air Force plane requested through official correspondence and provided accordingly. Hopefully the Air Force charged for it, because we don't want to unfairly criticise them. Personally, I have respect for the Air Force. They've never broken the Constitution, never abused citizens, and always enhanced Pakistan's honour. So if I sound a bit lenient here, forgive me. But the truth is that the Air Force provided this plane on Punjab's request. So this is the good governance offered by our respected Field Marshal. Next story, Shehzad Paracha reported, credit to him, that according to a state bank report, in just 38 days, Punjab government borrowed a record 405 billion rupees. How 38 days? because the fiscal year ended on June 30th. So this covers July's 31 days, plus the first 7 or 8 days of August. That's 405 billion borrowed in barely over a month, from the state bank and private banks. Compare this. KP borrowed only 20 billion in the same period, Sindh 16 billion, Balochistan 13 billion. But Punjab, under the Field Marshal's favourite good governance, borrowed 405 billion. See the difference? This is where his governance is most active, and you can see the results. Finally, when the Field Marshal said good governance is necessary for development, a Pakistani from Chichoki Malian replied, "Sir, for good governance, a people's elected government is necessary." Everywhere in the world, wherever there is good governance, it comes from rule of law and people's mandate, not by taking over everything unlawfully as you have done here. Now let's move forward to another personality. Just a day or two ago in my Punjabi vlog, I mentioned that I personally respect this man. There are 2 or 3 reasons for that. First, I said that the amount of hardship he has endured in his life. Very few people in the world have gone through such difficulties. It's as if troubles piled up on him to the extent that they became almost, well, normal. He went through such terrible times that, in my opinion, Allah will now only elevate his honour in this world and the hereafter. That is my personal thinking. I could be wrong, and you may disagree. But I personally believe that after all he has suffered, what greater trial could possibly remain for him? He is also the only member of the Sharif family who can interact live with the media. I'm talking about Captain Safdar. I respect him personally because first he has lived a very hard life, and yet he has tried to maintain his balance, mentally and politically. Of course, sometimes he slips up. You can understand under what kind of pressures he walks a tightrope. The second quality is that he is the only one in the Sharif family who can face live media. However well or poorly, he still faces it. Do you remember Maryam when she gave that interview to Londa Lapara G? She even gestured with her finger and said, "Cut this part, remove it." And you remember how that Londa Lapara proudly said the next day, before the leaked video came out, that no one can tell me what to cut. Later it turned out that not only the father, but even the mother had told him to cut it, so he did. Anyway, that's not news to us. We already know whose servant he is. His journalistic and political DNA is no secret. But back to the point, neither Shahbaz Sharif, nor Nawaz Sharif, nor Maryam Nawaz, nor Hamza Shahbaz, none of them can face live media. Captain Safdar can. Yes, people make memes about him, joke about him, laugh at him, but credit must be given. He has the courage to face media live. He is not incompetent like others. From today, all of you must join me in respecting Brother Safdar. Why? Because there is now an attempt to erase his name from history, to throw him into the darkness of oblivion. Our mission should be to ensure that Captain Safdar gets his rightful place in politics. I am talking about politics, not his personal life. His social and political standing should be recognized. I will also share stories of his courage and explain his importance. For instance, today he gave an interview to Javed Chaudhry, where he again said things that no one else in the Sharif family has the capability, the courage, or the reasoning to say. He said, "I do not support Imran Khan's wife being in jail. Imran Khan is a man, he can endure prison. Now tell me, could anyone else in the Sharif family say such a thing?" He said clearly, "Bushra Bibi should not be in jail. I absolutely do not support her imprisonment. I have myself endured this suffering. Imran Khan can bear it. He will not break. He is a man. He will serve his sentence." This is Captain Safdar showing his magnanimity. Just as we acknowledge his life's suffering and respect him, he too acknowledged the truth in this situation. Then Javed Chaudhry said, "But the Sharif family is actually happy with Bushra Bibi being jailed. They even want more done against her." In response, Captain Safdar again spoke a truth that no one else in the Sharif family has the guts to say. His words, listen carefully. Even if it were the wife of an enemy, even if she were a non-Muslim, I would not support this. But the Sharif family has a different view. They are not ready to side with Bushra Bibi, but what power does the Sharif family have? Are they some Supreme Court bench? What can they do? So you see, he made it crystal clear. This was a brave thing to say. He is a bold man with guts. Without naming names, he implied, the Sharif family is powerless, the real power lies behind them. And you know very well who Maryam once called her brother, the Field Marshal. That's the brother being referred to, not Altaf Bahai, but the real brother. So after Captain Safdar's statements, it's now clear that even people within the Sharif family's circles understand the reality, that everything revolves around Field Marshal's planned departure on November the 29th. This means new developments could emerge. Next story. I must personally thank Senator Van Hollen, a very respected US senator from Maryland, who has written a letter regarding Imran Khan. He is a close and respected friend of both Imran Khan and Dr. Arif Alvi. A trusted figure who wishes to remain anonymous, contacted Senator Van Hollen, presented him with the full situation and helped secure this letter. That individual stayed in touch with me and provided me this document which I am now sharing with you. Some of you often say, these statements, these letters, they don't lead to anything, but remember, diplomacy is not a kabaddi match where you make one move and win. Diplomatic effort is a continuous process, like drops of water slowly piercing stone. For 2.5 years, relentless diplomatic efforts in the US kept creating obstacles for the Field Marshal. Later, of course, he bargained away mines and minerals to create some space for himself. But that doesn't mean we should stop. The more we work, the more that space shrinks. This is how diplomacy works. Consistent effort. Now, Senator Van Hollen initially raised these concerns verbally, both in phone calls and in face-to-face meetings with Pakistan's ambassador. He expressed deep concern about what Pakistan is doing to Imran Khan, about the human rights abuses, and about restrictions on media and social media. The ambassador assured him that these issues would be addressed. But when the senator saw that nothing changed, he went a step further and put his concerns in writing, sending a formal letter to the Pakistani ambassador. In it, he said clearly, "I told you before, and I am saying again, you are running a reign of oppression there. Stop it, this is documented. This is an official letter sent to Pakistan's ambassador. You all should circulate it, discuss it, and if you are active on social media, thank Senator Van Hollen publicly. The more people support our cause, the stronger we become, and never think such things are useless. I assure you they make a difference. If they didn't, why would Hafiz Sahib, referring to the Field Marshal, spend so much of his energy in the US trying to counter these very things?" That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.